like I tell you every day, cuz, be positive, be effective. You know, anybody can talk anything, but for you to do it, it's a different breed.
Hello, I'm Kobe. Welcome back to the Mad Mike Podcast. Today I'm here with
Connor Kurek
and
Sadie Smith.
And our guest today is
Coach Thomas Blair.
Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Blair.
Welcome, family.
So, how have you been?
I've been good. Had a great year. Things are progressing well. Thanks for asking, fam.
It's good to stay positive in this time because of circumstances.
the Bengals,
This is true.
the Super Bowl. We talked about it a little bit before, but how are you doing, Mr. Blair?
I'm hurting, but, you know, at least we had a chance to achieve some things we thought we wouldn't achieve, and hopefully Mike Brown and his family open up their pockets, and we'll get there a couple more times before I got to be in a wheelchair.
Next year?
Yeah, next year.
We got
Honestly,
this next year.
I think next few years, I think we're just as likely.
Mm-hmm. I hope so,
anytime.
because I've been a Bengals fan since they played at Nippert. Mike Brown has helped me when I started Jacobs, the Jacobs Center. I was the head coach there. Mike Brown opened up his pockets for me and helped me tremendously my first 2 seasons. So I have nothing but love for the Browns. I mean, for the Brown family.
Yeah.
Not the Browns itself, the Brown family.
Yeah, there was going to be some little comments down there.
Right. That's why I had to clear it up.
Well, so I heard you were excited to come on the podcast. Have you done one before?
No, I've interviewed before. Like I said, my first major at the University of Louisville with telecommunication. My goal back then was to play in the Super Bowl and hopefully to produce it. Neither one of those happened. I became my other goal as being a teacher.
And what a great teacher you are. Because I had you for a substitute in, I think, 6th grade.
Yes.
With Miss Williams. But
And that's when you found out we were family.
They're cousins.
Yep. Fourth cousins.
When Sadie, what about you? What's your first memory of when Mr. Blair, was he ever a sub for you?
Well, a lot, but I knew Mr. Blair since I was really, really little.
Yeah.
Well, first grade?
I was here since preschool.
Yeah, but first grade when, yeah. Mm-hmm. I've been here at Oyler for 22 years.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I've been here for 3 years. I've been here.
Okay.
It's not really a long time, but
Hey, at least I love the journey of being here. That's why I haven't chose to go anywhere else.
All of you have more seniority than me. I'm only going on my 2nd year. I'm a
Really?
baby.
really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm entering 1st grade. No, I'm just kidding. I've only worked here for 2 years.
Wow. I didn't know that.
No, I'm just getting started.
Yeah.
And last year was virtual, so I was telling Miss Staley, my co-teacher, well, I'd count that, but this is the real year where I've actually started to know you all and actually see you in the halls and say hi and ask how you're doing. I couldn't do that when we were virtual.
So technically 3, but the virtual put that out.
No, technically 2, but I consider it almost my 1st year in a sense. But
Right.
Okay. Well, Mr. Blair, if you're ready for some questions. I'll
Oh,
start
yes.
asking. Well, so I didn't really like the Super Bowl outcome. What do you think was going to happen in the Super Bowl?
Well, like I told everyone, if we protected our quarterback efficiently like we should have and did some things uncharacteristic, because everybody got film on everybody at the end of the year. So therefore, we had to do something unique and something different like they did with the Nixon pass.
mm-hmm.
With the mix and pass, they should have done more things like that, and it could have been a better outcome. But I knew it was going to be a tight game, yes.
Yeah, the game, well, it wasn't really disappointing. Like, they almost had it, and they were going, but then Burrow had to go.
No, at one play, and that's what people get misconstrued with, one play doesn't make a season. You have to be efficient the whole time out there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not efficient the whole time out there, then those things are subjected to happen.
Yeah.
So I heard, as you said, you were a teacher here.
Mm-hmm.
What things do you teach?
I got my master's in special ed. I'm the substitute teacher here now and still working on my administration certification.
Nice.
What made you interested in like being a teacher?
It's a good question. At my junior high, I was with the Future Teacher Association by Miss Campbell, one of my teachers and one of my mentors. And I've always wanted to be a teacher. I just took the long journey like everything else I do in life to be one. I was a peace officer first in Montgomery, Alabama. When I came back to Cincinnati, once my older kids had gotten up to age and out of high school, and that's why I said I'll go back to school myself. And I got my bachelor's and master's from Xavier.
Do you feel like your kids inspired you to go back to school and actually become a teacher?
No, actually, it was my grandmother, because I promised my grandmother, one, when I went to college, I would get my degree. And two, my grandmother, that was my big mama, okay? That's Mr Blair. That was my big mama. She always encouraged me to do something different beyond what my elements were, because I was raised down Lincoln Courts. And that was the worst project here in Cincinnati during that time period. It was so bad they had to tear it down. So it really wasn't my kids. I try to encourage my kids to go beyond me. It was my grandmother and my grandfather, Joseph Christian, that encouraged me to move forward.
Family can be really encouraging sometimes.
Chill, you already know that.
So you talked about your son and your grandmother, right? So tell us more about your family.
Well, I have 6 kids. I have multiple stepkids, and I have multiple family here in this city that I'm very proud to say. And knowing that, you know, we don't see each other often, but at least we know we still got each other's back. So we were a close-knit family. I'm part of the Hillier clan also. My great-grandfather helped orchestrate to move Southern Baptist Church to Avondale. At that time, it was downtown. And my great-grandfather would make one call. My dad would make one call, like 10 o'clock, be there. We all knew we had to be at church.
Nice. So, sorry for that answer. Sadie, you want to ask a question?
Like you said you grew up around Cincinnati and stuff.
Downtown in College Hill, yes.
What are some of your favorite places to go around here?
Well, my favorite places to go around here actually closed down. And that was the Regal Theater, where I live right down the street from Lincoln Center. That was one of my most favorite places. And the reason why I chose telecommunication, my first pick with going to college as my major, was Al Shadakati. His daughter used to work here, and everybody didn't know this story during that time. Al Shadakati, Channel 9 was downtown. So we were accessible to the radio and the TV stations downtown, because Channel 5 was downtown, Channel 9, and also Channel 12, as well as Channel 19 is still down here in Cincinnati. So we were privileged to touch the people then. And Al Shadakani kind of befriended me and let me go in the studio and see some work that he was doing. And, you know, everybody else was wondering, why is Al Shadakati, being Al Shadakati, doing this, helping this little project kid? This is a nobody, you know, and I will ever be grateful to Al Shadakati for that experience.
That's so cool. What kind of work did he show you? What stuck with you?
What stuck with me was the producing end. You know, cutting, doing the panaways, doing the buzz shots. I got more gravitated to that than being in front of the camera.
Yeah. Because
there's no longevity unless you just super good in front of the camera. A producer is forever. I mean, look at Saturday Night Live. The dude's still producing it. You know what I mean? So that's what really, he allowed me to see it all. That's why I did telecommunication. And my first job actually was working a country western radio station in Frankfort, Kentucky.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool, just to know at a young age that I can do anything that I want to do, and I can be diverse in what I do. Didn't know it was diversity at that time. I just knew I was just doing things I was passionate about.
That's it.
I've heard you mention a couple different places that like you've been and worked in and stuff. What are some of your favorite places to like visit?
My favorite place to visit is actually the Bahamas, Freeport, Bahamas.
Wow.
That's my actual getaway place. Is Freeport. It's not Nassau because I'm a little bit too old to party, but it's Freeport that I can sit back, relax, and just don't think about nothing. Get on a banana boat and just chill. My second most best place is Greensboro, North Carolina. Okay, that's where North Carolina A&T is, but it's also nice beaches. You notice I like beaches. And the third most favorite place I love is Pensacola.
Pensacola, Florida.
Yes.
I actually have been there to see a YouTuber, but it's actually a nice place.
Right. When I lived in Montgomery, Alabama, I was only an hour and a half away from it. So that was like a quick getaway. So those are some of the places that I like. And when I was growing up, like I said, it was the Rico at that time. My godmother used to take me to the Reds game. And actually, during that time, actually going to Nipper Stadium and seeing the Bengals football games. That's what they used to play at Nipper. And my granddad lived like not too far from Nipper Stadium in South Cumminsville. And I used to go in there and sneak in the game.
Nice. How'd you sneak into the game?
Through the gates where the players came in. I'm fake like I'm getting autographs, and I'm just moving on in as they go.
You didn't need a grappling hook. You didn't need any of that. You just walked right in.
Walk
in.
right in.
You just gotta take some risks sometimes.
Nerves are still. You know how our family roll.
What am I doing? Paying for tickets? Going on?
Just sneak back.
Oh,
Easy.
gosh,
But mind you, I wasn't as big. I wasn't that tall.
That's amazing.
That really is. So how'd you get your job here at Oyler?
Actually, it was Mr. Dukes. Mr. Dukes, I was working with SERVE, that Cincinnati Initiative to Reduce Violence. This was my region because I was with Bishop Mingo at Evanston, and they had two people in one region, even though that region was big enough for both of us. And I was asked, did I want to go to Lower Price Hill to work? Not knowing during that time, because I was still in school, getting ready to get my bachelor's, I was telling Dukes that, I'm down in this region. Let me come into school and meet some of the kids and meet some of the administrators. And I met Mr. Hockenberry. So Mr. Hockenberry, like, do you coach football? Like, no, I'm a tennis coach. But, that was my little stand-in joke. He said, do you want to coach football here? And I got started coaching football here. Then I became a teacher here. Right. So that's how I really got based down here was Mr. Dukes and Mr. Hockenberry. To continue me being here, Ms. Randolph worked at that time was the online program. And me and her worked that together, me and Ms. Randolph. And she said, if I ever become principal, you coming with me. I haven't left Oyler since.
So coaching football, as of right now, we don't have a football team, but how did it feel to lose that?
Yeah, I heard some people talking about they wanted a football team now. Again.
This is my first time saying this publicly, so I want everybody to make this clear. I was hurt because I was taught since I've been little, you build a program for the community, not for yourself. So I'm thinking I built a program here, being 13 years here coaching football, because the key here being at this level at Oyler was not everybody going Division I. The key here is everybody to understand that you need to work together, regardless of what indifferences that you have. You have to work together with the people you have to work with. And everybody thought I did it for me, but my whole angle is ego is edging God out. So therefore, I have no ego when it comes to that. So it was kind of sad to see it not go past me, because I ain't put all this blood, sweat, and tears down here to see it fold after I walked away. Because the reason why I had to walk away because of my kids. At that time, my stepson just got a scholarship at the University of Toledo. My youngest son that's helping me with my program with basketball now was his first year at LaSalle. So I knew I'll be a coach all my life. It's time for me to be a dad. Mm-hmm. So doing that, I think the community as far as the students was selfish because I don't think they gave another coach a chance. So that was sad to me until ironically come back here through Ms. Randolph to coach the 1 year with basketball. It was like a dream because nobody knew that I coached everybody that played for me. Nobody knew that. Everybody thought that I was a new coach here. I didn't know the system, didn't know the kids, but they didn't know the system was mine to begin with. So we came in second place when we were picked for last place. And I had students that really overachieved my seniors during that time. My seniors really stepped up, and really we was almost a 10-game winning streak. We beat CCPA with only 5 players. Everybody else fouled out. So that really, it made up for my hurt of football. Because as you know, football is me. I don't do football just for the fun of it like I do with basketball. I bleed football. Ache and swoop.
So this is really like a question I thought of from my mind. Like if they said you could have the football team back, would you take it back?
No.
Because you're happy with your basketball one?
No, it's not that the point. Sometimes you got to evolve. Like we were talking about with, even the Bengals. It was time for Marvin Lewis to go. Now, he should have been a general manager to me, but it was time to go. I knew my time was up. You know what I mean? I know they needed new blood here. And that's mainly why I helped get Coach D's here that didn't work out, for basketball. But I'm a person that how we going to show the young people that it's their time if we don't give them their time? So I know when it's time for me to move on because God always let me know.
So being at Oyler, you said 22 years, right?
Yes.
How does it feel to watch all the kids grow up and graduate and go on to bigger things?
It feels good and sad in some points because I've seen a lot of kids die also down here. That's a great question, actually. It feels good to see people progress. Nobody gives us a chance down here in Oyler. Nobody thinks that we're doing the progressive things that we're doing down here like this podcast. So to see my guys, my girls go out there in this world and do the effective things they do as citizens, I feel really proud still. It's very emotional for me. Thanks for that question.
From the students here now, what would you give them for a word of advice?
Like I tell you every day, cuz, be positive. Be effective. Anybody can talk anything, but for you to do it, it's a different breed. Mr. C didn't even know that I wanted to do this. You know what I mean? But I never was told no. Mm-hmm. And if you are told no, I tell you what my wife calls me, come back kid. Because I hear that no, I don't accept that no. So I would tell them that always. Be progressive, be positive.
Now that's some good word of wisdom. Actually, I heard that you had surgery recently.
Yes, oral surgery, yes.
How have you been doing with that?
Difficult. That's why I took the time that I had taken off because I had to learn how to talk again. Ironically, through my endeavors in life, I was shot. So therefore, my mouth was wired up for 2 years. So therefore, I took that same technique as well as me being a younger lad. I used to stutter a lot. Every other word was da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So I went back to those old habits and just looked in the mirror. That's what Al Shadakati told me. Look in the mirror, pronounce your words, and say things correctly. You know, so I had to go through that all over again for about a month. I was ready to come back to work.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you came back.
Man, I was ready to come back to work.
Well, I know school stuff. We just been on it recently. What is your what's your life like? What are your hobbies outside of school?
Actually, what I'm doing right now in photography, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Like
I love photography. My dad was an artist. My stepfather did ice sculptures because I used to work at the ice house downtown with him. So I never could do ice sculptures, but he used to do ice sculptures. So just doing something within that frame. And, you know, my real hobby is my basketball program, the Orangemen. You know, working with at-risk youth that I haven't had to have them pay anything. And to see those guys in college now, you know, it's kind of cool. And having my kids come back like my sons to help out. The first one was my second oldest son, B.O.B. He helped out with Ray Vaughn and them. And now my youngest son is helping out with the new group I have. So just doing those things and just more, like you said, more family time. You know, more family time. Since I've been digressing some things that I've been doing, I have more time to see my other family members. Like go to a ward picnic or something like that again.
I went to a ward picnic. Like when my family was going out on vacation, I went there because I really didn't want to go on vacation. So I don't think I saw. Did you see me there?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, because I didn't think I saw you there.
No, I ain't been the one since Teddy moved to Nashville.
Mm.
You know, that's been a minute.
I think the last one I've been to was like 3 years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
But Sadie, do you have any questions?
Earlier, you mentioned Mark Brown and then Al Shadokati. What introduced
Mike
you?
Brown.
Mike Brown, sorry.
Yeah.
Good.
What introduced you to these people?
Actually, like I said, Channel 9 was downtown. And Al Shadakati was a prolific smoker. So I called him on a smoke break. And he just talked to me. I was like, at that time, like 8. You know, he could have pushed me away. Like, oh, little boy, you little dirty boy, I don't know who you are. But he embraced me and let me go in the studio. With Mike Brown, I just started my football program at the Jacob Center during that time that was existing. And I just said, well, Bumpin', I'm a fan. Let's see if he responds. He responded immensely to me and helped me build my program with the Jacob Center, which actually was only a 3-year program. Within those 3 years, we're the only program in history within 3 years to make it to the playoffs, the high school playoffs here in Ohio. So I'm proud to know that. I wasn't coaching then, but because at that time, Mr. Patrick was our athletic director. Yeah, me and Mr. Patrick go back a long way.
I'm really liking these stories. But I have another question.
Yes, sir.
I think I know you like to read books. I'm pretty sure you told me that once.
Yeah, autobiographies, yes.
Yeah. So what's your favorite book or movie that you've read or watched?
My favorite movie is The Liberation of L.B. Jones. Okay. My favorite book is Dick Gregory's autobiography. I got a chance to meet him.
Really?
Very powerful man. I actually met him when Ricky Smiley was a student at Alabama State University.
Awesome. And
then for anyone who doesn't know, I'm about to read about Dick Gregory right after this. What did he do?
He was a comedian to begin with.
Yeah.
Then he became an activist.
That's what.
Then he became a nutritionist. Wow. Then he became an author. He was another one that went to the college campuses during that time. I was a peace officer in Alabama, and I got a chance to go ahead and bodyguard him for that period that he was here. at Alabama State University. And the man spoke immensely about being positive. And that's what people don't understand. He wasn't talking about black and white. He was just talking about people. And I think if we just get within that spectrum and keep it as people, then this whole thing will be much, much better. So that was one of the things. And then he embraced the students at Alabama State University, a.k.a. Ricky Smiley and his friend during that time. He had them come with him. Almost like what Al Shadakati did to me, Dick Gregory did to the students at Alabama State, and wherever he went, I found out later. And not knowing, look how Ricky Smiley turned out.
Yeah. It's cool to see the result of seeds that were planted in your life from so long ago and then into the man you are now. I think it's cool just as a testament to students now that can look to people like you and people that are currently around them to think, man, like, where is that going to lead me 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 10 years from now, or whatever that might be, even if you don't recognize it until years later. I don't know, just a cool.
And it's ironic you said that because I'm a product of Young Life. That was a Christian fellowship.
Yeah, Young Life.
Right. I'm a product of that with Jeff Young. And it's ironic. I also work at Evanston Community Center for Cincinnati Recreation. And a guy came in there and we were just talking. And I told him my name. And he said he heard my name through my friend that actually got me my scholarship at the University of Louisville. Wow. And they brought me up. So therefore, my church is St. Joseph, one of the oldest black churches, Catholic churches here in the city. And to have that still relationship and that fellowship, I take more pride in that.
Yeah. You guys are doing awesome. Just saying. Go for it, Sadie. You got any questions you got?
I have a comment. The way that you like look up to some of these people that you've been talking about, I know that the students that you like coached at basketball and stuff here look up to you like that, because everybody I see always like respects you, and I don't know, they all love you.
Being interviewed by you was part of that love. I was always taught in order to get respect, you got to give respect. And I don't think a lot of adults really have that in the forefront of their mind. I respect people first before I disrespect people. So I was always taught that, and I try to exude that with everything that I do. And look who I have in front of me interviewing me is proof of that. So I don't look for what you just said. I'll look for the love that I try to give and try to receive that back. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
I have high respect for you.
You better. I mean, thank you.
Mr. Connor, do you have any questions?
Y'all led that like you've been doing this for 10 years, and I can't say that enough. So I'd say Sadie or Kobe, if either of you can think of anything else to ask Mr. Blair here, it's all on the table, whatever you'd like.
Well, let's ask Mr. Blair. So do you want to add anything that we haven't asked yet?
Yeah, because like I told Mr. C before we started, I had a friend, Jerry Eves, that does podcasting. And me and him both spoke when we were at dinner that I hope you guys understand this is the future. You know, all avenues in the past are done. You guys have an open gate to the future, and I hope you guys take full advantage of it. And that's why I'm here trying to help out in every capacity I can. And it's nice to see the two that's interviewing me. I never thought it would be you two, and I'm happy for it.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
And that ends off this. So anything else before we go?
Yes, I'd like to thank Mr. C for allowing me the opportunity to be here. I'd like to thank Mr. Allison for having the forevision to not cut off Miss Randolph's vision, but to continue it and to move progressively. And to have the relationship that I had with Mr. Allison, I feel blessed every day I walk in this building. And thank you guys.
So, anything else, Sadie?
No, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this. We appreciate this more than you know, Mr. Blair. Appreciate you more than you'll ever know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you for tuning in to the Mad Mike podcast. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night. We'll see you next time.
Kobe, you got to reintroduce yourself. You're our host.
Again?
You got to reintroduce yourself. Say your name. Be proud.
And this was Kobe Durgan. Thanks for tuning in.
I'm Mr Blair. Peace.